I watched this video by Sondag Film named Create Cinematic Minimal Motion Graphic Array in After Effects. And I thought, can I do this in DaVinci? And that's exactly what I'm going to show you. Let's begin by going to the Edit page and adding a Fusion composition and trimming it. Then right-click and open in Fusion. Once in Fusion, get an ellipse node. I like to use the shape system instead of the masking system, because it makes an outline a little bit easier to do. Get an outline node. Change style node to change the color of the outline. A merge node to composite the two and tidy it up. Now we're going to get into 3D stuff. First we get an image plane and connect the S-render to it. Duplicate 3D to make all the necessary copies. Let's make 50. Change the pivot point to -1. Now, instead of eyeballing or having to calculate the rotation, we can just put 360, so a circle, divided by the 50 copies that we have. Back to the image plane, we rotate it on the y-axis by 90 degrees. Go back and undo any changes you made while you were fiddling around. And then go ahead and add a 3D transform and a merge node and a shape node. Change the shape node to sphere. Adjust the size and position as you see it fit. Go back to the transform node and change the angle to -45 degrees, or whatever you prefer. And then we're going to use yet another expression, but this time using the time expression divided by 5. Since I am on a 60 frame per second timeline, dividing by 5 will make it go at a decent enough speed. If you're, however, working with a different FPS, you should change the value to whatever you see fits better. What this expression will do is take the frame number at any given moment and divide it by 5. We're also going to change the pivot point to -1 so that it rotates around the center of the copies instead of the side. Look how pretty it is. We're also going to make some minor adjustments and then add a render node so that we're able to see what we have just made in our 3D environment. Add a 3D camera to be able to easily manipulate one specific point of view, link the viewer to the camera, and connect it all to the merge node. Next, get a star shape node, an S boolean, change the corners of the star shape node to 4 to make a cross shape, and change the boolean type to keep union. Make adjustments to change the depth of the inside angles and the border width, then get a second cross. An S expand, change the expand to -1, fix the boolean, change the edges of the star to whatever you think fits better. Add a normal transform and merge node. Same as for the 3D nodes, add a shape render node and a style one to change the colors. Once again, let's use expressions to rotate the stars. And go ahead and copy-paste the transform node and merge node as many times as you want to have stars. They can all take the input of the same node subtree, so you don't have to do a lot of renders, just one. Link them all, make sure to add a background and change it to the color that you wish. With all the transform nodes that you need, adjust the centering and make it play. If you don't have a powerful PC, you might want to turn off high quality and motion blur. And it's keyframe time. Set in and out points for every star shape you have. Adjust the easing. And let's go back to the edit page, where you might want to turn on render cache to set to smart or to user, depending on your settings, to ensure that you have smooth playback. Once it's finished caching, review, make any necessary adjustments, review it once more, and voila! You've got your render.